Hi guys, thanks very much if you're watching this. This is the first vlog I'm going to do sort of in the daylight with me really. I know it's dark outside but we're winter, so we're pretty limited really in my world at the moment. It's a problem that I've got ongoing with wheelchair services. Lots of you helped me on Twitter so far, lots of you helped me on Facebook by sharing or retweeting. I really need you to keep it up because ultimately I broke my neck 6 years ago on a trampoline. And ever since I've needed a wheelchair. Now that's been supplied to me via Manchester Wheelchair Services. And ever since I got my first chair, none of them have been set up correctly. Now, the last time I spoke to Manchester Wheelchair Services about any of this, their attitude was that their chair is set up correctly. Now, I don't really understand how they can say that. They referred me themselves to my spinal unit, which is where I did my rehabilitation for 8 months. And they concluded in a 2-page report, which is what I've got in front of me here, that basically I needed to make some alterations to the chair in order for it to correct and keep my posture in a manner that was going to allow me to live my everyday life. So I went all the way up to Southport, had that report done. That was written by a lady who's actually looked after or treated me since I was injured, so she knows me really well. And the response I got back to that, 2 pages, from one of the best spinal units in the world, never mind the country, was a one paragraph response, which basically says, following receipt of correspondence at Northwest Regional Spinal Injuries Unit, the information's been reviewed and it's been deemed that the powered wheelchair on loan from Manchester Wheelchair Services meets your clinical needs and postural presentation. The current prescription will remain unchanged unless there is a change in your clinical presentation. Now that is signed by a consultant who I've seen once, despite requesting to speak to again 20 times. Also by a lady who was going to do her best, she said, to get me measured up with this, the second chair, and make sure that it was done correctly. Now, unfortunately, that hasn't happened, and it's proven by the fact that I've got pressure sores caused by the fact I've got no lateral supports. Now, the solution to that was trialled and suggested via Southport Spinal Unit, which is an adapted back to this wheelchair. Now, I'm going to try and show you. I'm not sure how successful this will be. Behind me is a back. Now you can take them off, they can be altered. Different ones suit different people. The back that I've got on here is a good back, but it's not right for me. So for someone who is a specialist in spinal cord injury to confirm that, and for them to know, which they have known for a long time now, I have no lateral support on this chair now. The reason we took it off is because it was marking me. And when I say mark, I mean it was causing open sores on my ribs that were bleeding. So when we went to Southport Spinal Unit, they said, we're not going to fit these back on because it's going to go straight back onto the area that's breaking down. And the centre manager for Wythenshawe Specialised Mobility Centre, which is where I get my wheelchair supplied through Manchester Wheelchair Services, stated that they know it's been set up correctly, that they don't need to see me again, and at that point suggested to me that I go back and speak to Southport if necessary. Well, I've done that, and I've actually seen the report that they've written now that's gone back to Wheelchair Services, and it's 4 pages long this time. Now, a lot of people on here have been saying to me, why aren't you crowdfunding this yourself now? If it's an alteration that I need, then unfortunately, even if I raise the money, I'm not allowed to do it to this chair because it still belongs to Manchester Wheelchair Services and it's on loan. And they won't allow me to do anything that they don't prescribe. Now, I don't understand why reading a 2-page report, they feel that they can't see why it'll work. And on the basis we did a 2-week clinical trial, we've proven that fact. But that, in my mind, is the only way that we're going to get things moving forward. So that's where we were up to until today. And I've had a call today from supposedly the patient liaison department It turns out that it's just a clinical nurse who works for the same NHS trust that looks after Manchester Wheelchair Services. Now, what she's arranged for is what she described as a multi-professional meeting. That's not going to take place until the 19th of December. Now, it's not a multi-professional meeting because it's not got anybody representing me or representing Southport Spinal Unit. So in other words, it's using the consultant and the person who fitted me for the wheelchair and another person. There's no independence involved. And this week, what I've discovered is that I'm well within my rights to actually ask for an independent wheelchair assessment so that I'm able to look at it with an independent third party. Is this the right wheelchair for me? Now, that's to solve things in the long term. In the short term, what I need them to do is authorise me permission to make one alteration, which is to the back, because that reduces my pain. We've proven that. And at the moment, I'm living with pain that is 10 or 11 out of 10. As soon as we put, I'm getting upset, as soon as we put that other back on that we trial with Southport Spinal Unit, that pain drops back to a 3 or a 4. Now, I've got people who are willing to help me pay for that. It's £500. So all I need is them to authorise that. And they're telling me that they're waiting now on the second report from Southport. I've read it. I don't understand how they can turn it down. So I'm waiting for them to respond to that. Thanks for everybody's retweets, everybody's messages. I really do appreciate it. It's a complicated situation and I'm very aware that I'm starting to explain it and it gets kind of disjointed and you might not understand exactly where I'm coming from. All you need to know is there's a golden rule, and that is every single spinal cord injury is different, including the injury and including the people. So how Manchester Wheelchair Services can claim that they can't, under their clinical guidelines, make these alterations, or at the least allow me to make the alteration, I simply don't understand. Please keep retweeting, please keep sharing. If you fancy it, get hold of my MP. Her name's Lucy Powell. She's really nice and she's helping me. If anybody's got information or examples from ways wheelchair services are handling you at the moment, please do get in contact with me. And on a last shout out I want to give is to Lorraine from Disabled UK, who's been amazing and is actually going to speak to the wheelchair services tomorrow, as well as several other agencies. So if anyone out there is disabled and they're struggling a bit, which I'll be honest, I am, look up Disabled View UK. You will not be disappointed. And they need everybody to share information. And that way we can all deal with these things as and when they crop up and hopefully support and help each other. Because I'll tell you one thing for free. This government isn't doing it. And this NHS department that I'm dealing with isn't doing it, or my NHS trust. And I need your help highlighting this. It's not just affecting me, it's affecting wheelchair users up and down the country. So I really do need and I appreciate all your help. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.